Okay, here's what we're looking at. I just kind of did this, just has something well to sit on. I'm not looking to get this perfect, just try to get enough so I can sand the corner once this hopefully sets correctly. And this is just a black plastic. Okay, where we're at now, and this is very rough, so there's going to be a lot of sanding involved, but the idea is once this epoxy dries, and it is supported by the channel, I do got a little bit of overrun on the inside, but the idea I'm thinking is once this dries up, then I'll be able to do some sanding on it and sand it down to roughly the corner, so at least the corner is repaired. Will it be perfect? Probably not, but it is worth a try. So I'm just going to let this sit outside. I'm not going to put it in the direct sunlight just because I don't want it to cure too fast, so I'm just going to keep it here in the shade for a little while and maybe speed it up a little bit later in the day in the sun, just after I know that it's soaked in and cured. But I think we should get a pretty level sanding out of it. If not, what I can do is sand it and then go over it one more time, assuming the rest of this plastic welder doesn't harden on me. So we'll see where we're at, and we'll check back on this once it dries. And well, it says about 24 hours, so we'll check back on this tomorrow and try to do some sanding and see where we're at with this fixing this laptop where the corner was cracked. And there's a few other smaller spots, but I don't think they're worth epoxying, especially on the bottom half here. There's a little crack, but it's kind of misaligned, so I don't think there's much I can do with it. If anything, I would just use super glue on that part of it. But this was so destroyed that, I mean, there was just, the plastic was just in pieces, so I'm thinking this was probably the best alternative, and it should be fine, and we'll see. We'll check back in about 24 hours. This is just going to take a lot of glue. I mean, this whole corner is just destroyed, and I mean, the plastic is just falling, literally falling out of the laptop. Maybe I can just, I don't know if I'm going to be able to even piece this back together. And it looks like the caddy inside's damaged. Why did it have to happen on that corner? I don't know. Okay, this is the 365E, the one that was damaged in shipping a few videos back. You saw earlier I was epoxying. I was going to show the sanding bit. You didn't miss much. It was a lot of sanding and sanding and sanding. I can't say it's perfect. I mean, it looks pretty darn good to me. I mean, at least there's a corner there now. And again, not perfect, but hey, it'll do. I used to have a Russian friend that would say, like Russian cake, not so perfect. I have no idea what that meant. Anybody has a clue? I've never actually found the meaning of that. I don't know if he just made up his own or what. But yeah, this came out okay. I mean, it's a little rough around the edges. I'm sure if I was a great person at epoxying and doing body filler and stuff like that, I probably could do a better job. And the hinge came out pretty good too. I just kind of made like a paint stain and just kind of rubbed it over the area where it was all kind of scratched up from sanding. It wasn't even that bad. And the hinge seems to be holding fairly well. And we'll open this up and just go ahead and plug it in. And we'll just fire this on real quick, and I'm just going to rotate this because it's toward the window right now. And this is just a quick follow-up on this. And there's the 365E logo there. And sometimes this switch, you know, hit it just right, it doesn't fire it up. All intensive purposes, I'm not sure how much more I'm going to do with this laptop. I may see if anybody's interested, let me know. I will figure out something with shipping, and I like to give it a good home. For me, I have more than enough laptops. I just didn't feel this one was worth discarding, and there is a little small imperfection on the screen, and I've said it is the dual scan, so you get the ghosting effect. Many of the keys, the GH key, Control Alt, and a few of the keys scattered throughout the keyboard are not working. But that's an easy fix, just swapping out the keyboard. If I could find one cheap enough say 20 bucks, I would probably do it. Free would be better, but you know, it doesn't work that way. There's the C prompt, and we'll just go into Windows just to show this thing in action for a moment. I'm just doing this handheld because I am just doing this as a quick video in the evening because I have a long day of work ahead of me tomorrow, and I still have a lot to do around the house. Okay, and we'll just wait for this to boot up to Windows 95. Yeah, okay, yeah, it is still using a spinner drive. I could upgrade that too, but again, by the time I spend the $25 and whatever, I mean, in the end run, I'm probably not going to hold on to this one. Maybe it'd increase the value, maybe not. I'm not really sure. Leave a comment if you got any suggestions for it. And you can see this, just that little imperfection right there. And honestly, in some games, you don't notice it. And of course, I had to be creative with with labeling stuff and fixing certain things like the auto exec bat and the config sys because of the missing keys, but I was able to get things semi set up. And there's a few games, like we'll just go into this video poker game, and I'll include a few games on this laptop if somebody is interested in it. And there's a shareware version, which it's pretty much a full version of video poker slots, and as you can see, I'm not sure where the best point is there on the thing. Sometimes these dual scans actually show up better than the TFTs for some reason. And just click on mouse button, and yeah, it loads right up, and we'll just do max coins. And okay, well, we got 2 10s. We'll just hold those and hit the deal button. All right, well, I got 3 of a kind. I got 3 10s, so not so bad. There you go. Just a quick update on it. All the lights are working. There is no battery. I do have the battery for it, but it is dead, and I just leave it out because I find it sometimes will not fire up at all if the battery's in it. And that sometimes happens with these old laptops. If you have an issue, just pull the battery out. But for now, I'm going to call this one done and say, well, maybe I'll hand it off, and who knows, maybe I'll follow up in the future if nobody's interested, and maybe I can work on this corner more. I'm not really sure much more I can do. I mean, I can sand and epoxy all day and maybe get it perfect, but at least the corner's there now. I mean, it's solid. It ain't going nowhere. And that epoxy, I mean, it dried fast, and it matches the color pretty good. I just put like a stain, a little bit of paint on a rag, and just kind of it matched up pretty well, and then just gave it a nice coating of the stuff I use, which I can't remember offhand what it's called to make it all nice and shiny. It's not Armor All. Anyhow, that's it for now. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.